Your search for positivity is over. You've just discovered something good.
As you open up the box, I wrote in there, the search is over, because it was over.
David Jones's search for something good just ended after 3 decades.
The gravity of what was just about to happen, the fulfillment of my whole big search was about to, bear fruit. I was about to go meet her.
He finally found his sister. They met for the first time in Florida. Kara Bailey said the connection was instant when David jumped out to surprise her.
Knowing him and, doing cute, funny things like that, it actually eased any emotion of my anxious nerves and excitement.
The pair talked for 6 hours about the search, about their families, and their future.
Me in my head, of course, I'm like, I want this to go on forever.
David's children are already calling her Aunt Kara.
I won't lie if I said I wasn't super nervous again because, I want all these people who are my new family to me to love me.
The love is there, and we're spreading more today. Stories from across the country about love and compassion that are all good to know.
Let's try something new. Let's be ahead of the curve. Let's be revolutionary. Let's take this opportunity. Let's make a positive situation out of it.
The words just poured into me. Only love.
It inspires a little bit of hope. It confers that hope, giving it forward, that somebody cared enough about you.
If I could make you think about the world a little bit different, make you smile, make you a little bit happier, my job is done.
It makes me feel like we're making a difference.
Are you just amazed?
I'm just amazed.
Hey, look at them that looks just like me doing something I never thought could happen. What could I do that no one ever thought was possible?
Hey everybody and welcome. This is Good to Know. I'm your host, Lindsay Boach, and we celebrate the positive, the uplifting, and today we're celebrating the message, you are loved, and one California mom is spreading it in a very spectacular way.
All right, so here we go.
With just a little bit of planning.
The only thing that's predictable is the circle in the middle.
Sharon Belknap begins.
And then the rest of it is just organic shapes.
Watching her work is like seeing a dance unfold.
How they connect and interrelate to one another. The sounds of the ocean, the beauty of the water, a playfulness rises up in me.
Sharon, a graphic designer and illustrator, has done just a couple dozen of these sand mandalas.
And once I did it, and the expansiveness, the impermanence, the freedom, the tactile quality.
Sometimes solo, sometimes with friends, she brings extra rakes because people passing by often get inspired, and she welcomes the collaboration. Dancing as she works, her whole body exudes joy.
It's restorative. It rekindles. There's a remembrance of playfulness that's innate.
Expressed on a canvas that will be washed away by the waves. That impermanence, freeing, she says, and healing.
My son, Chris Thompson, on 4th of July, I like to say he ascended.
The 28-year-old Valley Center firefighter died in an early morning crash this 4th of July. The next morning, inexplicably, Sharon says she woke up feeling joy.
Joy that I had this amazing soul, this amazing human being.
She came to her spot in Cardiff.
And the words just poured into me. Only love. And we have so many choices. And in that moment, I chose only love. And that doesn't mean I haven't felt all the spectrum.
The first person who walked over the bridge that morning took this picture of her, standing illuminated in the early sunlight.
I was not prepared for this. Who's prepared for this, to lose a child? But he's not lost. He is still so here.
He's in every drawing. The eyes, she adds, are Chris's.
Being out here, creating these, I often ask Christopher, what do you see, honey? And he says, Mom, I see you.
When this design is done, Sharon and her friends share a COVID-conscious butt hug, as she calls it, taking a moment to share it with Christopher and share its message with everyone who stops to take it in. You are loved.
In Michigan, 2 women have come up with a beautiful way to show women that they are loved, especially during these tough times.
Karen McDonald of Sterling Heights faced cancer through the life and death of her mother, Teresa, and days before she passed away.
I could just tell that her dignity was gone. And so I went home and made her kind of a makeshift wrap and brought it in on Christmas Day, put it around her patient gown, put some blush on her, and I saw the difference immediately. And just the old familiar smile that she used to have was back again. And I thought, you know what, one day I want to do this for others as well, for them to be able to maintain their dignity throughout, because that's all you have.
In the loss of her mom, Wrapped in Love was born. Karen created the company to give women stylish and comfortable clothes and accessories while going through chemo. Items that allow people to keep their individual identity and wear it with confidence and pride.
A lot of them still carry the scars and will the rest of their life.
But none of that should ever have to define you.
That's what Wrapped in Love is all about.
She's passionate about what she is doing. She really listens to people, to women, and we both are passionate about making a difference.
Lisa Lurie and Karen are friends, but more like kindred spirits, and their bond started from cancer.
She's really been a true mentor to me.
Lisa founded her business several years ago called Cancer Be Glammed, empowering women to recover with dignity, positive self-esteem, and your own personal style.
It really stemmed from my own personal experience with breast cancer. I was diagnosed in a very short period of time. I went into surgery 2 weeks later, and then chemotherapy. And here I am, a working, active mother with young kids. And all of a sudden I found myself bald, restless, bloated from steroids, with scars. And it's so overwhelming.
To go through such an emotional and physical transformation.
Women need to feel comfortable in their own skin again, and we have to help them get there.
So together this past summer, they conducted a survey. Nearly 900 women participated. They were asked what is needed and what is missing during treatment and recovery.
On a scale of 1 to 10, having access to appearance-related information and products, information about how to manage lifestyle issues, the survey really validated that this is such an important part of overall recovery.
We see it as an opportunity, actually, to get more retailers involved, online, offline, bricks and mortar. It's really an underserved market, and a lot of people don't even know some of these items exist.
And they should. They must. Right now, there are more than 8 million survivors or women in treatment across the country.
I'm an 11-year survivor, determined. For me, and I think for Karen too, it's a movement. You know, we like to say that there's a fashion revolution going on, but it's not on the catwalk. It's behind the scenes with survivors who really recognize that emotional support and recovery for the physical issues like appearance-related challenges and rebuilding your self-esteem are so important, and we are going to pave the way to change that narrative for women.
That's what it's all about, people helping people that have been through it before.
There's so much more that's good to know. We're spreading the love with lasagna.
I think it's a very different message that we send when we put our heart, we put our soul, we put our time into providing a home-cooked meal from somebody.
This recipe for kindness is good to know.
We are spreading the love love, and nothing says you're loved more than a home-cooked meal, and that's the recipe behind Lasagna Love.
Do you want to put the sauce on, baby?
Yes. It's lasagna making time, and Angela Rosenblatt and her adorable 5-year-old helper, daughter Stella, are whipping up a big batch for strangers in need.
I think it's a very different message that we send when we put our heart, we put our soul, we put our time into providing a home-cooked meal from somebody.
Angela is part of Lasagna Love, founded by Rhiannon Men, who first posted her idea on social media in May. Angela was one of the first 10 to answer the call to spread love through cooking.
It inspires a little bit of hope. It confers that hope, giving it forward, that somebody cared enough about you.
Angela makes about 20 of these a week in her Del Cerro kitchen, which means she has given more than 500 so far. Is your lasagna recipe something super secret or something in the family?
Growing up in a restaurant industry, you cook with what you got. It's always made with love. It's always made with some really great ingredients, but it's what I can get so that I can feed as many people as I can.
Volunteers drop the meals off at people's doors for pandemic safety, and recipients often make it clear how thankful they are. That includes essential worker Abigail Eastman.
We are very grateful for you guys in this time of pandemic. You guys are making a difference, one lasagna at a time.
Sometimes there is no feedback. Angela says she understands why.
It's embarrassing to a lot of people that this is the first time that they have never been able to maybe provide for their family. And you can't be doing this for thank you.
And certainly for Angela and the now 3,000 plus volunteers in 47 states feeding their communities, the true motivation is feeding the soul.
And I hope that that's kind of a lesson that I'm able to show to my daughter, that even though we're having a hard time, we can continue to move through it, and we can continue to kind of show grace.
See how pretty the leaf is?
Rows and rows of crops to harvest, irrigation lines, cabbage the size of your head. Not exactly what you'd expect to see just a few miles south of downtown Phoenix.
Look at there. See?
It's also not the place you'd imagine finding a former top-level executive. But for Diana Gregory, there's no place she'd rather be.
Coming out to the farm is very relaxing for me. This is really a labor of love. I wish I had more time.
It's easy to get distracted by the bounties of broccoli and the supersized cabbage and the collard greens that are overflowing, but make no mistake about it. There is a dream that is growing from this soil, and it's one that Diana has cultivated for most of her life.
I was 8 years old, and one of my neighbors, Miss Fanny, had just returned from the grocery store, and she's struggling trying to carry her bags, and all the children are outside playing. No one flinched to help her. At that time, I realized as a little girl how seniors were treated, sometimes neglected, sometimes overlooked, and I made a vow at 8 years old that when I grew up, I wanted to do something on a big scale to really help seniors. And then that's the cabbage.
And that's exactly what Diana is doing with Gregory's Fresh Market, a nonprofit initiative that brings healthy fruits and vegetables to Valley seniors at no cost to them. In Phoenix, there's more of a need than you may realize. More than 40% of residents live in food deserts, according to the city, where things like quality, healthy produce may be in short supply. Diana is trying to change that.
It's like a gift. It's a gift of nutrition.
You like some fruits and vegetables? Okay.
And this gift isn't just for seniors.
Nice start for a good morning.
Gregory's Fresh Market also serves Valley veterans like Kenny Kessel. After his appointment at the Phoenix VA, he was one of more than 200 veterans who walked away with his own bag of fresh off the farm produce.
I'm on a budget, I'm on disability, and every dollar counts.
For volunteers like Ricky and Ruben, it's more than just a way to give back. As veterans themselves, it's about sacrifice, fulfilling their sense of duty, and honoring the brave men and women who served just like them.
Vets put in so much and they've given so much, so it's nice to be able to give back to them.
It feels amazing, especially being with those guys, in and out of the battlefield and coming back home to serve some healthy fruits and vegetables, especially during the time of a pandemic.
And because of the pandemic, Gregory's Fresh Market has had to pivot, becoming a delivery service. We followed the volunteers to one of their drop-offs at the Tanner Terrace Apartments in Glendale. And that's where we met Martha Anderson, who told us the bags she gets from Gregory's Fresh Market are her lifeline.
It means the difference between a meal and starving.
Martha also has diabetes. That means she's constantly monitoring her blood sugar and needs to have a steady supply of food in her apartment. She tells us that's a lot harder than it used to be.
Oh, this is my means of transportation, so I can't jump in my car anymore and run to Walmart.
These free fruits and veggies from Gregory's Fresh Market may not solve all of Martha's problems, but inside each bag, she sees more than just produce. She also finds hope.
People wouldn't realize how important that bag of vegetables and fruit is, but it's a blessing and it's a meal. And that means a lot.
For Diana, it is a full circle moment that takes her back to the time when she was a little girl.
It makes me feel like we're making a difference. And it is just so heartwarming to be able to give back on such a big scale.
And to think it all started with a handful of seeds, the unrelenting drive to serve, and a dream she refused to let go of until she could see it blossom into what it is today.
We have so many more positive stories that are good for your heart and warm your soul.
This has been a good way to both give to people that are need the help.
It's good to know.
Welcome back. We're spreading the love today, and this will warm you up. Carter Benton is a high school senior in Buffalo and runs his own business, Johnny's Blankets.
My goal for the first year was to get 50 blankets sold, and we're way past that now.
These soft, luxurious throws are a hit with his customers and the community. You see, for every blanket Carter sells, he donates one to organizations that help the less fortunate.
This has been a good way to both give to people that are need the help, and also a way to get something that's locally made and locally done.
Inspired by Johnny, a young teen he mentored, Carter has donated more than 100 blankets, helping cover dozens of people trying to keep warm this winter.
Once I have enough orders, I'll be able to spread the wealth a little bit.
Great job, Carter. And he's not the only teen who's showing others you are loved.
What drives me to keep going is making the military feel appreciated, because I get letters back saying that they didn't know what they were doing out there. They didn't feel appreciated. They didn't feel cared for. I know I can't stop. I have to keep going for them.
Seminole's Gracie Tubbs was just 9 years old when she started Operation Military Matters. It was a school project launched after she had an upsetting talk with local World War II veterans.
They didn't feel cared for, and they felt pushed away. It couldn't be like that, and I had to do something about it if no one else was going to.
This remarkable young lady is 14 now, and to say she's made a difference is a big understatement.
We've sent over 5,000 care packages and raised over $100,000 so far.
5,000 care packages shipped to U.S. soldiers all over the world. This is community-driven. Donations, thank you letters, homemade items. On the Operation Military Matters website, you can submit a soldier's name to receive a package. Mom Katie says this project is a constant reminder to her daughter and herself of the goodness that surrounds us all.
It truly is amazing to see the kindness of Americans, and that's what Americans do. We support each other.
His lifelong passion is to spread love.
I call myself an idiot, IDIOT. Inspire, dream, ignite, be original, and give thanks. And every day I live by those rules.
We've got some laughs coming up. It's good to know. We're spreading the love today and clowning around a little too.
Well, my parents would take us every year to Ringling Brothers, and I was just infatuated with the clowns for some reason.
At just the age of 18, Dustin Portillo was already achieving his lifelong dream of being a Ringling Brothers clown.
Would practice juggling, putting on clown makeup. I mean, I lived and breathed it 24/7.
Dustin even met his husband, Brandon, through the circus, who was also a clown. Being in the greatest show on earth was more than a career, it was a way of life.
So there I am. Performed in 3,500 shows, probably anywhere from 300 to 400 publicity appointments, from radio interviews, television interviews, newspaper interviews, hospital visits, parades, festivals.
His 7 years under the big top led Dustin to an opportunity to step into the big red shoes of one of the world's most famous clowns, Ronald McDonald.
Love what I did. If I could make you think about the world a little bit different, make you smile, make you a little bit happier, my job is done.
But Dustin had no idea all the joy he instilled as a clown could be achieved just as easily in a business suit. During the pandemic, he has helped deliver more than 105,000 meals to first responders on behalf of Casper's Cares.
And from my job as a performer to what I do now is no different. My job is still to bring some smiles. I'm just not wearing makeup. Really, that's what it is.
Dustin says he's not just dropping off lunch, he's dropping off hope. And deep down, he'll always be a clown at heart.
I call myself an idiot, IDIOT. Inspire, dream, ignite, be original, and give thanks. And every day I live by those rules.
We started with a simple message: you are loved, and people all across the country are showing us how. How can you spread the love? You can find more positive ideas on GoodToKnowTV.com. There are good people out there doing good things. Isn't that good to know?